Welcome to Trial Site News podcast series. Today we are honored to be speaking with Gidon Akler about Geneyx genome sequencing and COVID-19. So doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
So how did Geneyx get its start? We know that it was associated with Sourasky Medical Center in Tel Aviv. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Actually, the association with Sourasky Medical Center is a recent development, but essentially Geneyx contains 4 modules. There's a data module, analysis module, tests module, and research module. And each one of them got started at different time points. The Geneyx data, as it's called, which is basically the data storage and management and the entire pipeline, genomics pipeline, as well as data sharing platform, was established in April 2018. Then there was the analysis and interpretation software, which has been in development for over 4 years now, since about 5 years now. And that's an ongoing, development. Been in use now for a number of years by clients around the world. Then there's the health tests module. So that's actually one that I'm directly involved with through my company, Tovana Health. And I teamed up with Geneyx for about 3 years now, developing these off-the-shelf CLIA-CAP ready tests that labs and any researchers can use through the Geneyx platform. And now recently with the COVID-19 study with Sourasky Medical Center, the research module is being established and being developed through that study.
Well, we're proud of the work you guys are doing over there. So who are the founders and what are their backgrounds?
Sure. So essentially, there are 4 founders of Geneyx. David Yitzhar, he's the CEO. He is a long-time investor and entrepreneur with over 40 years of experience in the international IVD and medical devices market around the world. And there's Dvir Dahari. He's the chief scientific officer. He has a strong background in genetics and bioinformatics and cell biology. He essentially developed the analysis module of the platform that's been in use now for a number of years. There's Raviv Yitzhaki. He's the chief marketing officer with a very long and strong background in marketing and creative branding for over 35 years now. And there's Ofer Barnea as well. He's also a very accomplished scientist with an impressive background in biotechnology engineering and human molecular genetics. He's currently doing his postdoc in UCSF as well right now.
So for our audience, could you explain how the technology was developed for the genomic testing?
Yeah, so essentially the past few years now, at least a couple of years or so, they've been working closely with partners at Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem and another private lab called Pronto Genetics Lab in Tel Aviv. And they learned that there were unmet needs and that essentially allowed them to create a technology and a proprietary method of anonymizing and encrypting and creating a pipeline to convert raw genomic data into other variant call file data that's usable to be analyzed and interpreted, and done so in a very secure fashion. And also it's powered by the gene cards of the Weizmann Institute, if you've heard of that.
Yes.
That's actually a very well-known knowledge base. So the backbone of the analysis and interpretation pipeline is based on gene cards as well.
Now, the timing is unfortunate with COVID-19, but the hope is that this testing study in Israel will help better understand the novel coronavirus. Can you share the parameters of this study?
Yeah, sure. There's a number of parameters actually. So actually, if you look at the mortality rate in Israel, it's much lower than many of the other countries. It's only about 0.9% compared to countries like Italy, which is about 12.7%. France is close to 11% mortality rate. And so that would suggest that there are protective variants in the Israeli population. And that's what we want to look at. We want to basically look at the human genome to find any protective or risk factor variants associated with COVID-19. And we're going to do that by breaking it up into different groups and looking at those that have a severe clinical course, those that have a moderate, those that have a mild, those that are asymptomatic but positive for COVID-19, and those that are even not positive for COVID-19 but have had a lot of exposure to the virus. And we want to figure out why that is. So to do that, we're obviously going to take a lot of clinical data and information, demographics, and the entire clinical course of each one of these groups, each patient in these groups. We're also going to look at the viral load and serological testing as well, and combine that with the genomic analysis, which we're going to be doing, which is going to be whole genome sequencing using the Illumina NovaSeq 6000 sequencers. And our aim is to sequence at least 1,000 individuals to include in this study in Israel.
Wow. You mentioned the low mortality rate. So how will it contribute to better management of the pandemic in Israel and in the rest of the world?
Sure. So first of all, it will allow us to, this study, we're doing this at a very rapid pace because we want to identify these risk variants and protective variants as quickly as possible so that we can share this knowledge with the scientific community. This could allow us to predict any fatality rates in the various populations. It could allow us to better understand the mechanism of the disease and also improve current treatment approaches or identify novel therapeutic targets as well. And you can imagine this kind of data, this combination of the clinical data with the genomic data is priceless for the pharmacological community.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. So on that note, then, what is the company's plans for growth?
Well, the target is to reach at least 100,000 genetic sets over the course of the next couple of years or so. And we're going to be collecting that from labs, from hospitals in different territories, and combine that with clinical data. And this really, again, is priceless to the scientific community to be able to do that and offer that to the scientific community. And in conjunction, we have the analysis platform, which we're offering, as well as these ready health tests, off-the-shelf health tests that would allow labs that have already genomic data stored just to upload to the platform and then generate these health reports very quickly and seamlessly and offer this as an extra service to the patients that they've already seen for other purposes or for research purposes.
Right. So what partnerships then do you think are required to go to the next level and meet your goals and objectives?
Sure. So at the moment, the target of Geneyx is small to medium-sized labs and hospitals, because there's a void there in those institutions that Geneyx could fill and allow them to monetize on this platform.
Mm-hmm. Now, Trial Site News viewer base is known as the Trial Site Network. Many investors are in this network. Are you looking for new investors?
Oh, definitely, yes. We're seeking investments that exceed $1 million and preferably strategic investments that can help us later connect with pharma companies.
Sounds good. Now, any closing comments?
Well, in this unfortunate time, I think to have such a platform as Geneyx, which allows researchers and the clinical and scientific community all to collaborate together in a very secure and comprehensive fashion, is very crucial. And that's exactly what we're doing. with Ichilov, with Sourasky Medical Center in Tel Aviv, and other hospitals around the country in Israel, with the backing of the Ministry of Health of Israel as well. And of course, eventually we'll open up and form other collaborations throughout the world as well, with our research study that is started in Israel.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate your time. We know you're busy over there and in Israel, and we're wishing you all the best.
Thanks very much. Take care now.